Hey, good morning, CLP team. Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Kind of high winds and thunderstorm risk. It's definitely part of our job. We work outside, especially this time of year. Things can kind of pop up pretty quick on us. So making sure that we're staying abreast to kind of what's going on from a radar perspective, but also there's no better radar than your eyes. It was brought to my attention this past week. We got into a pretty sticky situation. Okay, at the end of the day, but it's not something that we want to run into very often. So understanding that storms can often move 30 to 50 miles an hour. So that means that something can get on top of you pretty quick. That we're working on have pretty large roofs. So egress off of that, finding your exit, being able to get to a safe space, may not happen very quickly, just depending on the size of that structure and kind of where you need to exit. So, want to make sure that we're paying attention to, the radar that's available to us, good at figuring out if something's getting a little hairy. So, what I want to do is make sure that we're not putting ourselves in situations for unnecessary risk. I want to make sure we're all coming back, happy, healthy, and safe at the end of the day, but do worry about fall risk, do worry about materials blowing off the roof, causes, dangerous projectiles. And I want to make sure that we're not just taking care of ourselves, but the other trades that are on that job site. So, and that's not even talking about lightning and the risks of, getting struck by lightning as well. So, want to make sure that if we see conditions changing rapidly, we're not waiting for somebody to call us off, but we're able to kind of make that call with our own intuition. So, again, every person has the ability to, whether it's going to their crew leader and saying, hey, this looks a little dicey. I don't want people to hesitate. It's not a sign of weakness. So again, appreciate all the work that you do. Stay safe out there. God bless.